Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, author and Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, I guess former president, member. He's just an all-around good dude. John LeMay with us this morning. Morning, John.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm glad you survived yesterday.
I did.
Yeah.
It was a very educational experience. It wasn't too bad. It was, folks. It's not as bad as everyone gives the horror stories out. But now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be. Oh, let's knock one out of the next week too. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. It's all good. So, how's life treating you, John?
Oh, it's going great.
Good.
Yeah.
How's I know we're going to talk about book fairs and all that stuff on the historical side, but how's the writing side for you? Have you been able to write a lot, or busy, or been kind of wrapped up in other stuff?
It's always a mix of both. You know, there's always things to do at the museum, and so just divide my time up between that and writing. And,
well, unfortunately, the museum's required a lot of attention over the summer here. Part of it was just the wear and tear of life in general.
Yeah.
And then it coincided with COVID, which we had a bunch of storms. So it was a perfect cocktail of just a lot of things happening at once, which has created a bit of a setback for the historical side. We're good. We're going to be fine, but we could really use financial help and things because we've got a roof, several roofs that have been replaced. We've got foundation issues in the house. Not to mention all the storm damage from trees and the cutting down of all, and leaks from those. We have an archives facility that's got roof issues, of course, foundation issues on the main house. All of this cocktail of stuff it's made it an expensive year. So we got lots.
I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Lane Mayfield and Fred Boggs, because they went upstairs and put tarps over everything in the upstairs of the archives to protect it. So they're very on the ball.
Oh yeah, everything's good, everything's there, but we got some expenses and have some expenses that have happened and are coming up here. That it's the cost of doing business when you're preserving a historical items and a facility like that. It's just what it is. But in the meantime, though, if you want to help out and kind of score on your end too, one of the annual events that John is his baby here is our annual Rare Book sale auction. This is something that you guys do every year. People are very kind to donate things to the Historical Society. But from time to time, we get some rare books and things like that come into our possession. Fortunately, we get doubles of these sometimes and things like that. So when we do get doubles of copies of rare books, this gives us opportunities to, obviously keep some for our own collection. But the extras, so to speak, we make available to the public if they like them. And this is kind of one of those things that's coming up here.
Yeah.
Did I nail it? Is that pretty much how it is?
Yeah, you did. I think we've had like 2 of these sales, and of course we couldn't have it last year.
COVID kind of put a wrinkle on that.
But that means we have double the inventory, because we did have a lot of people donate books. And
Good.
So we have quite a few rare ones. And, to speak to what you said, if it's a really common book, I'm trying to think of an example, like New Mexico Past and Present. I think it was like the college textbook for New Mexico history. Like, we don't need 3 copies of that. One copy will do.
Sure.
Now, like if we have Ranch on the Ruidoso by the Coes, we're glad to keep like 2 or 3 copies of that book for our collection, but we don't need 4.
Right.
Because there is such a thing as a fire code. We are running out of room. We have to be practical.
And there are probably times when space is like, okay, now we got to prioritize what stays and what we need to find a new home for. And so unfortunately, we can't keep 4 or 5 copies of books just lying around here. We keep obviously 1 or 2 for preservation purposes, but the rest basically turns out a win for you, the public. So it's a great way for you to, if you're a book collector or just love reading old rare books, this is a chance for you to kind of, even if you're just a reader more than a collector, go up there and buy them, read them, and then sell them to the collectors and see if you can make some coin on it yourself.
That's right. Yeah. Because we really don't have the time to wait around on eBay for months and months for somebody to buy a book.
Sure.
But this is how meticulous I am when it comes to these donations. And I think I did this with Ranch on the Ruidoso. I think the donation we got had a really nice dust jacket, but the interior pages weren't as nice.
Okay.
So I took off the nice dust jacket, put it on our copy in the archives, which had a ratty dust jacket. So I mean, that's how meticulous I try to be. So I do make sure we keep the best versions for ourselves.
Sure.
And if we have a signed one, we're going to keep the signed one for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, a lot of those rare books are signed. Like I think our Ranch on the Ruidoso, I think it has Peter Hurd's signature in it.
Oh, wow.
One of the ones for sale that we have.
So that's got some value to it right there.
Yeah, we had a lot of people actually donate copies of. Well, I say a lot. A lot means 3 people. We had 3 people, I think, donate copies of Roundup on the Pecos, the first one that a lot of people want, and those are both signed.
So these are really cool collector pieces, or just. I'm, as a guy who loves history, I even love the fact it's a book, and the obviously technology has changed how we do things on every level, and including making books. I mean, we got the digital age now, but just like looking how they bound books from 40 years ago or 50 years ago versus how it's done today, and there's something to be appreciated there too.
Well, some of my books I like to design as though they're old. Like in the inside, I'll put a fake library sticker. This is discarded from like I did a book about King Kong.
Yeah.
So I put a fake library sticker on the inside that says this book discarded from Skull Island Public Library.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I have like some grungy like page damage like JPEGs like I'd put on certain pages just to make it look old.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Only thing you're missing is the old school library card holder in the back where you could slide it. Who checked out the book. And you always look, oh, my buddy John checked out that book. I remember that. Of course, that was then you referenced the card catalog in the library, which that's not a piece of furniture anymore in a library either. But we got some at the Historical Society, right, in the archives.
We do, yeah.
You use some of those old card catalogs.
No, we don't. So, like, what you're talking about in the very back of the book, we don't use those just because we never check those books out.
I mean, the actual furniture.
Oh, yeah, the card catalog.
The catalog furniture. Yeah. You've got those and use them for reference and storage and everything. Yeah. So, but that piece of furniture in and of itself is a historical footnote. It's kind of neat. So, talk about dates and times and all this for our rare book sale here?
Is it September 4th, right?
It sounds right.
September 4th, and it's 9 to 12.
Yeah. And so it'll be at the archives facility there, right next door to the JP White House there on Lee Street. And this is, and we'll talk more about it obviously as we get close to it, and probably have a better idea of list of books available during the event. But generally speaking, these are books that, like you said, because we couldn't have one of these last year. So in essence, we've got 2 years of donations of doubles and duplicates and things that are going to be available at this year's auction. So, or book sale. I say not auction, book sale. Do you know auction skills? Give me 10, give me 20. We could do that. Maybe we can get you, give me 10, give me 20, 25. But and check. I like it because you find obscure things. There's just and you're like, and even if you don't know if what you're looking for particular, come out anyway just to look and say like, oh, because I think you're going to find books that even if you're not a collector or you're just going to, I would like to read that book. I want to see it. I see the subject matter, and I would love to read that book just to read. And then, now you got a very nice copy of it.
Yeah. You know me, I'm not a BS promoter. I'm brutally honest. And truthfully, this is probably going to be the best book fair we've ever had.
That's great.
I mean, I know there's some people, they say that every year.
Sure.
It's like my mom watched The Bachelor, and every year, Chris Harrison, this is the most amazing finale we've ever had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
no, this really is. I've never seen us have this many great books.
It's the biggest sale of the year. How many times you heard that in a commercial?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else that would catch people's ear. We've got a couple of Forgotten Frontiers.
Okay.
There's one book about Lee County. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
It's similar to Forgotten Frontier, and people love that book, and they always want it. I know we've got like 2 of those.
Okay. Now, are all the books related to New Mexico and the history, or are some of the books not necessarily New Mexico related, but are written by New Mexico people? I mean, is it a little bit of that too, or is it all mostly stuff on New Mexico history and culture?
No, we got, when people donate the old books to us, we take like old copies of novels, which people probably don't really want to read, but they might just want them as a display.
Sure.
So we've got books that are not important that we might mark down to $1 that you can buy as a display, whereas like
or people want them for craft purposes or something. Yes.
Well, like we have a copy of Last of the Mohicans, which will mark up higher because people might actually want that book.
Yeah, that's something
purposes.
People are familiar with it. They made a movie out of it, so people will hear of it. Yeah. Well, I didn't know if there was like an old copy of Ben-Hur lying around in there or something.
Yes.
You know,
and I need to check and see if we have that, because if we don't have it, we'll keep it because Lou Wallace wrote it.
Yes, which he, go to Lincoln, you'll learn about. But he was our New Mexico territorial governor. So he's got, but yes, he is also when he wasn't a Civil War general and New Mexico governor and everything else, he wrote the book Ben-Hur.
Yeah, he wrote Ben-Hur as he was kind of negotiating with Billy the Kid during the Lincoln County War.
That was kind of then that back and forth when he was trying to get his pardon and all that stuff, and of course promises were made and not kept, and well, you know the story.
So to reiterate, because people kind of half listen to these things and don't always hear it. So again, we have a copy. Don't know if I'm going to sell it. I'm going to look and see if we have it. Don't have it, I'm going to keep it for the archives. But if we have a copy, we'll sell this one for.
And if anybody has a copy and would like to donate to the Historical Society, they would love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, and something else I wanted to say too. If you really want Roundup on the Pecos, and you'll pay what we want for it, because we need money for the roof. Just to be blunt.
Yeah.
If you can call Amy today and start maybe negotiating, if you offer the right amount, we'll sell it to you now. You don't have to wait.
This is true. This is true. We can be bought. I joke about that, but it's just we got we got more stuff that's going to be coming up here in the months that we love to have people get involved in. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to things. But in the meantime, we could really use support and help. If you'd like to make donations, if you'd like to, if you go to our website and purchase books that way, anytime you buy any of John's or any of our other great local authors' books through the website, you're contributing and helping to the Historical Society. So every little bit like that helps. Becoming a member. Right now, we'd love to have more members come be a part of the Historical Society. There's various levels of membership. It really doesn't require hardly any work on your part. You get newsletters, and we'll send you stuff and all that. But you're, depending on your level, if you sign up as an individual or married couple or some of our higher sponsorship-like memberships and things, all of that helps us. So a great way to support. Go to our RoswellNMHistory.org website. There you can learn more about membership. You can actually learn all about what we do at the Historical Society. But then you can see our online store. You can buy some of our books. Peter Hurd prints.
Yeah.
We still have up there in the archive plenty of awesome prints that are for sale by Peter Hurd and his family. And make great birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, what have you, or just get out of jail gifts. Get out of the doghouse gift kind of thing. Any of that stuff is great, but all of it supports the Historical Society. Another way you can support is the Archives facility is a rentable facility for your events. If you have a small gathering of we can fit. What is it, like 70 or 75 with the fire marshal in that facility? So, It's got a full kitchen, full meeting area. It's on a beautiful property so if you're like doing a wedding, photos and those kind of things, there's lots of very beautiful places on the property between the house and the archive facility to do that kind of thing. Or if you're just having a business meeting that hey, our office ain't big enough to hold 20 people, let's go have it over at the Historical Society, and you can make a little thing out of it. I know we have entities that use it all the time for events and things. Historical Society, Leadership Roswell, they do meetings and things there, and it's a very good facility, and it's a great way to support the Historical Society by doing that too. So if you go to our website, RoswellNMHistory.org, you'll learn more about rentals or becoming a membership and all that good stuff. But really, a quick way here is our book fair. Look for that coming up here in September. We're going to have John and Amy on, and we'll keep reminding you as the month comes on here. But put the bee in your bonnet, and if you'd like to make donations, all of this stuff here, John's kind of probably the guy you talk to when it comes to as far as artifacts or items of donation. He's going to be the guy that can kind of tell you, we can use that, or hold on to that, or what have you. But all of those contributions are great too. Please, and even Amy will tell you this: if you love to support, even coming off and dropping office supplies and stuff, all those little things are very helpful. I know Amy is our one And she said it, and she's not wrong. She's our one paid employee. That's it. The rest are all volunteers and donations and everything else. Amy is an amazing steward of the money of the Historical Society, and she's constantly almost to an annoyance of turning off lights and adjusting air conditioning to make it cheaper.
Yeah.
And so people come by and drop off a roll of paper towels or paper clips or pens. All of those things are awesome. Thank you for doing that kind of stuff. And no gesture like that is too small. Everything is very beneficial. So thank you. But if you'd like to keep doing that kind of stuff and would like to maybe even step up your game, we greatly appreciate it. We want to make sure that this home and this archives facility is available to generations 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, long after we're no longer a part of the Roswell scene.
Yeah.
Good deal. What else we want to talk about? How's your writing? Working on any books right now?
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk. You were talking about what was that ad called?
Oh, Deaf Protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for folks that go to deafprotection.com. They basically block your phone from being listened to and all that stuff.
So why that caught my ear is once a month I'm on this podcast called Scarycast, and they like to talk about like cryptozoology and UFOs and stuff like that. And I've gotten to know the host fairly well, and he's writing a book on UFOs, and he just kind of wanted to get my perspective on living in Roswell and going up here. So he called me last night, and it was so funny. Connection was always really crisp and clear when we were just shooting the breeze, talking about normal things. When he would start to ask questions, really specific questions about people, places, UFOs, he would like cut out.
Interesting.
And so like I started teasing him, about the Men in Black, and he said, well, he looked out his window and he said there are two strange men kind of just hanging around the dumpster outside.
Interesting.
And then like finally they left, and then the connection kind of cleared up. So
coincidence?
Could be coincidence.
Could be, but maybe they were.
Never know.
Maybe this guy. I mean, he is studying this kind of stuff and research. He may have got on their radar and like, hey, let's see. You never know. I mean,
all right. Here's the funny story.
Or he could be completely just misunderstood that situation. I don't know, but I'm of the opinion. Well, I'll never discount anything.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to take a listen.
Well, okay. So I was signing books at a UFO fest, like I don't know how many years ago now. It was probably around 2012, and I think it was in Roswell Landing, and this lady and this man walk into the back, and this lady, she asked me, she's like, well, I want to know if you want to join our society, kind of like our secret society.
All right.
And she was like, Leonard Nimoy's a member, and Stanton Friedman.
Wow. That's some big names there.
Yeah, and they had some weird name like the North Star or something. I mean, that's a Masonic thing, I guess, but it was something Star.
Okay.
And it was just a weird thing because she was like telling me, oh, this guy, he's my bodyguard. And he went along with it. He was like, and then she was, how people tell you these crazy stories about like, well, some members of our group have almost been assassinated, but we have assassins protecting them. She's just telling me all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that sounds rational.
And then she's like, and I basically told her I wasn't really interested in joining.
I don't need to be in an organization that has assassins.
And then she offered me $5 as a goodwill token.
Oh, $5.
Yeah.
Well, she said $5.
Yeah.
Bring on the assassins.
Yeah. Yeah. But I had I'm friends with Dennis Balthazar, and Dennis knows Stanton Friedman. So I asked Dennis, would you ask Stanton Friedman, is this a thing?
Yeah.
And Stanton Friedman said no, but who knows? Maybe they decided I wasn't worthy.
And he got ousted. Yeah. Well, yeah. I've come across those in my world too.
Yeah.
Just some authors and things, and that's the part that makes it the UFO, that whole thing, because like the men, like you said, Stanton Freeman, Don Schmidt. These are Travis Walton. These are folks that are regulars at Stanton Freeman's passed away and retired. He retired a couple years ago and passed away like the next year. So obviously he's no longer with us. But these are the gentlemen that are the who's who of kind of the UFOlogy and I don't, wherever you're on the spectrum, full believer, full non-believer, somewhere in between. Stanton Friedman, Don Schmidt, every time I've talked to these individuals, it's always scientific. It's not these people that, well, we've got our own assassins. No, everything's from the science standpoint. And so it's kind of, so when you say something like Stanton Friedman, because I mean, that guy is instantly probably the most credible sources of UFOlogy in the field. He's the Babe Ruth of UFOlogy here. And so to say that and the reason why he is because he comes from a scientific. It's really hard to debunk what he says because it's all science based and it's interesting. So, but anyway, I do know those stories and I know what you're talking about.
Well, I've got another one if we've got time.
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, this one will really blow your mind. I'm not going to use their name. But a friend of mine from Roswell, normal person, totally sane.
Sure.
So they used to work in the business community, like big business.
All right.
Like they knew some of the big time people. They met
like a corporate world or
corporate world. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. They had met Bill Gates before he was a big thing.
Okay.
So they had briefly been in that little circle.
So he had some clout in his thoughts and opinions and people didn't think he was crazy.
She actually, Mike, you sexist.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Women can be important too.
You're absolutely right.
I'm just kidding.
You're absolutely right.
It's actually a she. Yeah.
Okay. So she was not looked at it as a crazy or kook or anything.
No.
Gotcha.
And she's very accomplished in the corporate world for a while, working in that circle before she moved here. And she got a letter in the mail one day from this weird organization that said, one of our higher ups remembers you from back then. We think you'd be great. And she said it was a very strangely personal letter that had details about her current personal life in it that was really freaky, that you would have had to have recently have spied on her.
Gotcha. So they knew stuff that she's like, why do they know these things?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it was it was kind of like trying to bait them. And it was like, we can do this for you. We think, you would be useful to us. And what put it over the edge is they gave a little handbook in there, and the handbook had all of the weird, what you would call Illuminati occult symbols in it.
Okay.
Wow. We hear about these rumors about there being, the secret rulers of kind of society, but it's weird when you meet someone in the flesh that you know very well, that has kind of seen proof of that.
Interesting.
Because it's one thing to hear about on a TV.
So why would they approach her? What was it that drew her to them, or that they were drawn to her?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's just interesting. So.
You mentioned that, and I love history. I'm a mark for watching documentaries on Netflix, and I end up watching one of the ones on Son of Sam. And a lot of that is kind of like what you're talking about here. Like, basically, that documentary was saying Son of Sam was just like a wheel in the cog. Like, there's a whole network of that cult thing that really is. It's like, I don't want to trivialize or anything, but how we look at the Elks or the Shriners or those types of organizations, like they have this whole underground cult, satanic, and the Son of Sam and the symbolisms that you're talking about. I'm almost wondering if that was some of that going on, like there was ties to Montana and everything else with Son of Sam and all this stuff, and I'm wondering if this is crossing into those paths a little bit. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have seen that movie Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yes.
And the first time I saw that, I liked it, but I was like, that's stupid. There's no way you could have a secret sect within this entire government. Nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
But now I absolutely believe that's possible.
Sure. There's where there's a will. I think after this 2 years of COVID and everything and the world we lived in, my opinions changed on a lot of things. Things that I thought were hokum or hogwash. I'm now like, all right, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And or at least I'll entertain it. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, I've seen enough craziness in the last 2 years that I'm not going to discount anything without taking a look at it. Yeah.
Okay, to me, a big national conspiracy is no different than a small town rumor.
Sure.
And this is just a totally generalized thing. Like, let's say a husband is cheating on his wife, and she knows it too. Like, everybody knows it, but they will never themselves confirm it out of pride or whatever. And so for that reason, a lot of people just won't believe it because they say so.
Sure.
But you see the evidence, you see all the signs pointing to it. It's almost exactly the same with some of these conspiracies. Just because the government denies it and won't admit.
Sure.
You see it with your own eyes.
Well, and the whole thing is to try to discredit and debunk anyone that gives credence to that.
Yeah.
And so that's what's out of the playbook there.
Yeah.
For anything that goes out of the playbook is we need to discredit them. We need to besmirch their character, their career, just basically don't make them credible people to get that. And that's a common tactic. And so unfortunately, we have an inundation of people that are just mental health not there, and they're buying everything, and they muddy the waters to the people that actually have spent their whole careers in science and doing the legwork on all this stuff. But it's easy to just say, "Oh, here's your full hat," and turn them into, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the move that we've been doing for the last 50 years. Anybody that's a real putting this with an just unopinionated lens, they're finding some real questions and things that you can't answer. And but anytime you get that leads to a path of the unknown, which I don't care who you are, there's no leadership or government organization that's going to frequently let unknown information out there without fear of losing their power. So that's what's going on with some of that. But it's interesting. You're right. It is very, I think we're losing ground, or they're losing ground on that, because technology and science is getting to a point where you can't cover up and hide this stuff anymore. I mean, we're at the point now where you can spit in a cup and send it off to somebody, and a month later, you know everything about you.
Yeah.
You know, that's really hard to hide things when you live in a world like that, you know. And so I think we're going to find out more information as we go.
I believe that as well.
Yeah, I think so too. But in the meantime, come be a part. Mark it on your calendars for September. Our Rare Books Fair will be happening then. In the meantime, please go to our website, Roswell-NM. I was going to the city's website, RoswellNMHistory.org. Sorry, there's so many Roswell NM something or others out there.
Yeah, okay, RoswellNMHistory.org.
Yeah, that's the Historical Society's website. You can go there and become a member, purchase books. If you would like to learn more about if you want to set up tours and things, the museum is available for tours and things. You can call and set that up, and we'll get you personal, private tours. If you'd like to make a donation, that would be awesome. Again, all of this money is going to help fix our roofs and our foundations, and pay for many a tree branches that ended up in the streets and things like that. And oh, by the way, there's a carriage house that we spent a bunch of money on a couple years ago doing work. So it's a never-ending. Well, it's the cost of doing business when you have a 100-plus-year-old piece of property that needs to be maintained.
Yeah,
it's the nature of the beast. And then, of course, if you've never been into that house, or if the last time you went was your 4th grade tour, please come see. It's a beautiful house. So much has changed just in the last 2 years since COVID. You know, there's been a lot of things, exhibits changed and things like that. It's a beautiful, great place, and we'd love to have you come out and be a part of it. And like I said, if you need a rental, don't forget, go to our website at the RoswellNMHistory.org. And volunteers, I always should mention that too.
Yeah,
that's another great way to support us. If you'd like to, I know John's got some folks that work with him in the archive, but I'm sure they can always use some more hands. They get together a lot on Fridays doing work in the archive facility. If you would like to volunteer and be a part there, we'd love to have more folks get involved there. Financially, obviously, but even if you want to be a docent, if you love doing that stuff, we could always use more folks to be docents, people that kind of guide folks through the tours and things like that. And even you love doing yard work, things like that. We have volunteers that come and do the flowers and do all the stuff, and love doing that, garden clubs. But we can always use more people to that stuff. So if you're like thinking, well, I can't cut you big checks, but I'd love to get involved. We'd love to have you come and be a part of and volunteer. And
the museum's probably the docent need is higher than the archival need, because we actually have quite a bit for the archive now, so we might have too many cooks in the kitchen there, actually. So we're actually good there. But for the museum and docents, they definitely, because our docents were more the at-risk population for COVID. So
a lot of seniors that were docents.
So they're more hesitant to come back, some of them. So if you're young and you're healthy and you're not scared, we could use you.
We probably have one of the youngest docents in the city right now, and that young man, he's Josiah Strange, his family, they're great supporters of the Historical Society, but he's a young man that loves history. I think he kind of came into our thing around 8 or 9 when he was started.
I think so.
He's been around a few years now.
Yeah, me and Josiah shot a video for the city website actually about Billy the Kid recently. Don't know when it'll be released. But
Okay.
yeah.
Does he play a young Billy?
No, he just plays a young Billy expert. He plays himself.
Oh, I got you. Well, that's enough. He's he's been involved with us for a few years now, and he's a docent. And if he can do it, he's just a kid that loves history. I imagine, some point or another, he's going to be probably the next John LeMay and be the archivist and doing all the archive work and all that kind of stuff. I think we're grooming little John.
My replacement. He's
an amazing kid.
He stole my thunder. I used to be the youngest one there.
Oh, you're right.
I can't compete with.
You're just.
I can't remember what he is now, 10 or 12.
Yeah. Now you're just some old hat.
I am. Yeah.
The ladies don't treat him the same.
No,
they're all.
Josiah gets all the attention.
He gets all the attention. Oh, he's so cute and pinches the cheeks. But it used to be John. They used to do that to John, and now not so much.
One of my friends described me as Justin Bieber for old ladies.
Oh.
Oh, you like that, didn't you?
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
But come out. It's a great. And here's another thing too. I work on a lot of boards and everything, and they're all great. But the Historical Society is just one of those that there's so many. Every single one is involved in their own way, shape, or form, and they own it, and it makes for a great experience on that society. So big thank you to all those board members that show up each week and do their parts. And it's one of the most active boards I think I serve on as far as getting stuff done and things and doing. It's a board. Like anytime you got a group of people, you're not going to get 12 people to agree on anything half the time. But they do a real good job of just kind of working together. It's a well-oiled machine, I think, as far as boards go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But please come out. And then, like I said, start calling the tours. Please call us if you'd like to arrange a tour. I'm telling you, our tours are better private. So give a good donation because, that does help us. But I've had more people say that it's such a personalized, cool experience. It's kind of like having the whole facility to yourself with a personal guide telling you about everything that's in the house. You get chances to learn things that sometimes in a big group tour that facts and details you don't get time to share because times of this or you got a lot of people you got to get through. There's time for all of that, and you get all the good stories, all the inside stuff that sometimes you don't have time for in another thing. So please call or go to the website roswellnmhistory.org and learn more about everything we're talking about here. So good deal. Well, John, as always, appreciate it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we'll talk to you again soon here. I'll see you a bunch between now and then. But have a good weekend. Don't work too hard.
Yeah,
and,
you too.
I guess you guys will be out archiving. Hopefully the weather will cooperate.
Well, we're indoors, so we'll be good.
Yeah, but it is the archive roof.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It's like a colander right now. It just kind of keeps the water on the spaghetti there. Thank you, John. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.